Sports is a gigantic industry and one that's constantly growing and evolving. With this, we've also seen a shift in sports media. Now, sports news is at our fingertips, but this creates some problems. The shift in accessibility also creates a shift in reporting, and clickbait has become more pertinent in sports media. We can see this in both large and small outlets. Here at Michigan State, we know better than most just how big sports media has gotten. Being a Big Ten university, sports play a big part in the culture of our institution, and with successful sports teams comes more attention to everything you do.
Like I said, clickbait is becoming a significant problem in sports media today. Clickbait itself is defined as content whose main purpose is to attract attention and encourage visitors to click on a link to a particular web page. In other words, clickbait is anything meant to get you to click on web pages, articles, etc. On April 2nd, 2020, an article was released with a headline that read, "Michigan State coach Tom Izzo sought out witness in 2017 criminal investigation of a player." This headline was quickly picked up by media across the country, and it was understandable as it was a pretty significant piece of news. The only problem with it is that it was misleading. The article states that Michigan State head basketball coach Tom Izzo sought out a witness before the witness had spoken with investigators. But what it doesn't state is that the witness was Braden Smith, son of former Spartan Steve Smith. The article even states that both Izzo and Braden Smith had a relationship, and Smith considered the coach to be his godfather. My point with all of this is that the headline doesn't match the content of the article and is ultimately used to attract clicks. Of course, all headlines do this to an extent, but with dropping a big name like Tom Izzo and framing what happened in the manner that it did, the headline is, overall, clickbait. It is meant to get people to click on and read the article, even if the content isn't necessarily accurate to the headline.
Just as clickbait has become an issue today, so has fake news. The debate about fake news in today's media is a hotly contested one, but with the rise of social media and the idea that anybody can be a journalist, as proposed in Emerson T. Booking and P.W. Singer's 2018 book, Like War, fake news in sports is becoming a significant problem.
Social media sites have greatly impacted the world of sports media. Emerson T. Booking and P.W. Singer's book, Like War, gives us a great look into the idea that now, anybody with social media has the capability of being a journalist. In Like War, Booking and Singer give the example of the Bin Laden assassination, where local people who simply had access to Twitter tweeted about the operation, and how there was a man who unknowingly live-tweeted the operation. It became the biggest example of civilian journalism, and changed a lot about how journalists view social media. With sports, there's a similar effect going on. Now, we're starting to see normal Twitter users becoming effective journalists by using their platform to tweet news that they may be hearing, sometimes before major organizations do. On February 4th, 2020, head football coach of the Michigan State Spartans, Mark D'Antonio, suddenly retired. It was a shocking development that left Michigan State's football program in a flurry, considering it was just one day prior to National Signing Day. But it wasn't ESPN that broke the story first. It was actually a Reddit user who made a post into the Michigan State subreddit saying, "I have a friend who is friends with someone who works with D'Antonio's daughter, said he's retiring today." This post circulated social media throughout the day until Mark D'Antonio tweeted out his official statement. This was just one of many examples of civilian journalism in today's sports world. But it doesn't always work that way. Following Mark D'Antonio's retirement, the Michigan State sports media, as well as national outlets, followed the coaching search closely. After multiple candidates had turned down the offer, Spartan fans had latched onto Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell, so much so that active members of MSU's Twitter community latched onto a picture, reportedly of athletic director Bill Beekman leaving Cincinnati. But what really got people attached was that there were 2 extra people with him. As you can see, it was only a picture of their feet, which sparked what might have been the craziest incident I've witnessed happen: Shoegate. Twitter users sleuthed as quickly as possible and managed to find a picture of Coach Fickell and his wife in shoes that were strikingly similar. This, combined with reports on message boards that, according to sources, Fickell would be leaving Cincinnati to become the next head coach of the Spartans, the fans were on top of the world. That quickly came tumbling down just a few hours later, when Beekman was seen getting off the plane in East Lansing without Coach Fickell. Then, Jim Comparoni, a writer for SpartanMag.com, clarified that the source was Fickell's son's Snapchat messages. It turned into possibly the biggest blunder in media that I've personally seen. Another rising issue is fake Twitter accounts impersonating real ones. There are plenty of fake accounts that impersonate NFL insiders like Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, as well as impersonating organizations like ESPN and Bleacher Report. People fall for their fake tweets all the time, and even I, when I'm not carefully looking, have retweeted fake tweets thinking they're true. In conclusion, both clickbait and fake news and misinformation are becoming increasingly large problems within sports media. We, as media consumers, can do our part to eliminate these issues, being careful in what we share, making sure it's reputable, and reading through articles carefully before sharing, and not just from the headline, are all effective ways of limiting these problems, and they're simple to do.